But let's go back to 1990. This is the time when I grew up in. I was born in 1990. I was born the same year that Tim Burton dropped his landmark film, Batman. Punish. So Silent Night, Deadly Night tells the story of Billy, who as a young boy watches his mother and father brutally murdered by a man dressed in a Santa suit, grows up to have a paralyzing fear of Santa Claus, and one day, while being forced to dress as Santa Claus for his job as a teenager, he snaps and decides to unleash some Merry Christmas punishment. Alright guys, continuing on through my Christmas horror movie reviews, now we are going to talk about the B-movie classic, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Now, this is the movie that I just watched for the first time last year around this time. I bought the Scream Factory release, had a lot of build-up, everybody's talking about how great it was. And I'll be honest, on my first watch, I was quite a bit disappointed. It didn't quite work for me. But I put a year of distance between it. I rewatched it last night, and I will say, I liked it a little bit more. So let's talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night. Starting right off with the positives, I think that the best thing that this movie accomplishes is really showing the psychology and the build-up and the trauma leading up to Billy becoming the killer. I think this is one of the only slasher movies I can think of where you spend a good 30 minutes plus learning about the guy who becomes the killer and kind of really sympathizing with him. Like up to the point where he starts killing people, you're like, man, I'm totally on this dude's side. You're with him when he watches this horrible tragedy befall his parents in a really violent, fucked up way. Totally understandable why a kid would get messed up by that. Then you fast forward a few years, you see him in this monastery for children, and the Mother Superior is just way, way too strict on him. You know, she's trying to be good. She thinks that she's doing the right thing by being strict on him and, you know, forcing him to sit in Santa's lap and all that crazy stuff. But as a viewer, you're watching it and you're going, no, this is not a good path. This is going to go horribly wrong. And then even catching up to him as a teenager when it seems, for all intents and purposes, like he's healed. Like he's just a productive member of society. He's very polite. He's very, you know, subservient. He's a nice guy. But you still see those tics here and there whenever he's working in this department store and everything that comes up in the holidays. Whenever he sees a picture of Santa, his smile kind of goes, and you know it's building to something bad. And I will say, one element that this movie really taps into that a lot of horror movies don't tap into is that childlike fear of Santa Claus. Now that might sound taboo, but if you really think about it, most of us probably, at least half of us as kids, whenever your parents took you to the mall to sit on Santa Claus's lap and take pictures with him, I know for me in particular, that motherfucker terrified me. I loved the concept of Santa Claus. I loved the real Santa Claus. I was wise enough to know that motherfucker wasn't the real one. But anybody dressed in a Santa suit that I had to go sit on his lap and tell him what I wanted, that shit terrified me as a kid. And this kind of brings a new, dark, really fucked up angle to that of why a kid would fear Santa Claus. And another childlike fear that they do kind of tap into is a really creepy scene at the beginning of this where Billy and his family go to visit this grandfather who's basically catatonic and never speaks, but as soon as the parents leave the room, why you would leave your kid with them, I don't know, but they leave the room, and then all of a sudden the dude just kind of comes to life. He's like, "Want to hear about Santa Claus?"
You know all about Santa Claus.
He brings presents to all good boys and girls.
Your daddy told you that, didn't he? Well, I tell you something. Santa Claus only brings presents to them that's been good all year.
And again, it might be taboo to say, but most of us, if we're honest, will say that there is some memories that we have as a kid of some relative that we're supposed to love and cherish that scared the fuck out of us. Some aunt or uncle or grandma or grandpa that we had to hug and kiss and take pictures with that scared the shit out of us.
All the other ones, all the naughty ones, he punishes. What about you, boy? You been good all year?
And this grandpa scene totally taps into that. Again, childlike psychology. This movie's got a little bit more going on behind the scenes than I would have expected. I also really like the music in this movie. It's not anything that's like, you know, super advanced musically. It's nothing that's gonna go for like some big award anywhere. There's not a whole lot of orchestra behind it. It's just very simple noises and simple tunes that kind of fit the scene that they're in, and which is why I like it. Whenever Billy's starting to get a little bit tense, or whenever, you know, that fever's starting to start, oh shit, it's Santa Claus, the music really enforces that. It does have some creepy tunes here and there, which does kind of keep that Christmas horror vibe going throughout. So I like the music in this movie. And being this is a slasher movie, got to comment on the kills. I think the kills are pretty decent in this. There's some good variety to it. There's a little bit of uniqueness to them. Maybe I saw them too late in life. If I saw them back in the 80s when this came out, it'd be really unique. But watching it now, I was like, okay, those are cool. I can remember Silent Night, Deadly Night for that antler kill. I can remember Silent Night, Deadly Night for that sled kill. It's a slasher. Kills are important. Silent Night, Deadly Night, pretty good kills. And I gotta give kudos for just the concept alone. This was a really controversial film when it first came out. I mean, there was people trying to get it banned. The concept of Santa Claus in the opening scenes of the movie raping and murdering two people, and then for the entire, you know, maybe second half of the movie, Santa Claus just brutally killing people. I could see why that would upset a few support groups out there, but just the horror movie concept of Santa Claus going nuts and murdering people, pretty cool shit. And finally, this is probably the positive that's going to polarize people the most when you watch this movie. This movie does have that kind of cheesy, low-budget B-movie charm to it. And you're either going to be on board for that and enjoy it for what it is, or it's going to really deter you from it and you're going to think this movie's a piece of trash. So that's the thing that's going to divide people the most, is that B-movie charm that this has. For me personally, the first time that I watched it, it turned me off. This time when I watched it, I guess because I knew what I was getting into, I actually enjoyed it. Some of the cornier spots, I kind of went along with it. I actually laughed a little bit. So how extreme some of the acting is, how poor some of the acting is at times. It's that B-movie charm that a lot of people love the Friday the 13th movies for. Totally fits with Silent Night, Deadly Night. So for me, this time at least, I enjoyed that. Now, taking that note and moving into my negatives, we'll go ahead and get the easy ones out of the way. Yes, this is a low-budget B horror movie, so it's very easy for me to go ahead and say the acting is terrible, the production is terrible, the quality of filmmaking is not all that great. Like, this is nothing that's going to win any awards. This is nothing that's going to be one of those beloved classics that people study and try to recreate or take, you know, inspiration from for filmmaking for years to come. It's not that type of movie. This is a movie that you find in the video store that has a cool cover, so you take it home and you're like, oh, Santa Claus killing motherfuckers, that's cool. It's a B movie. Doesn't excuse the fact that the acting is bad, doesn't excuse the fact that the quality is a little bit low, doesn't excuse the fact that the production's and all that great. That's why I said those are the easy hits. Those are the easy punches that I can take at Silent Night, Deadly Night. So all that shit's valid. I took the punches. There you go. But moving on from that, one of the bigger negatives that I kind of held on to with this film, which I don't know if it's just me personally because I was so invested in the character in the first half with how much build-up and how much time they spent getting us to really sympathize with Billy. But I feel like they kind of stepped on their own dick a little bit with the second half with just how relentless this guy is with killing people. To me, the movie would have been a lot more successful and a lot more interesting of a story if he only punished people that genuinely needed punishing. I know it's B-movie, it's supposed to be kind of heightened, it's supposed to be ridiculous, so it kind of fits that charm that he's just killing people left and right regardless what they're doing. You know, they drop their cell phone, well, not cell phone, they drop their keys on the ground. Naughty! You know, it's ridiculous how easily he kills some people in this. There's a couple of people that deserve it. The guy that's raping the woman that he works with, the very first kill of the movie where he hangs him with Christmas lights. Good. Kill that motherfucker. Later on in the movie when you get those bullies that are assholes and take the sleds away from those kids. Good. Chop that motherfucker's head off. I enjoy that. But when he's just walking into random houses like, oh, you're naked, punish. Or you get to the end and the cop that's guarding all the children. Oh, you're in my way, punish. I feel like the movie and the character as a whole would have been a lot better if he was genuinely like, almost like Dexter, really punishing people that needed it. Like if there's drug dealers, if there's robbers, like you could have had characters throughout this movie that he's just coming across that really needed to be punished, and it would have really added to that tragedy of the final scene whenever he's gunned down, getting ready to punish Mother Superior. My own personal opinion. And going back to the kills, as much as I thought that the kills were pretty good in this movie and they were unique for the most part, and they definitely have some standout stuff that will make me remember Silent Night, Deadly Night for particular kills, this is a negative that I will admit might just be because of the copy that I watched, or it might be something that everybody's always had an issue with this movie, but the uncut version of this film, which has most of the money shots regarding these kills, most of the gore, most of the long extended shots that the MPAA took out, the quality on the Scream Factory release, which is the most updated release of this film to date, is shit when it comes to these kills. Like, you watch the uncut version of this film on this Blu-ray, and constantly throughout the movie, you go from 2018 upgraded Blu-ray quality to suddenly the uncut scenes, which are like daytime television 1992 with a fucked up antenna quality. It is horrifically bad to watch. And it's really jarring and almost headache inducing. You get to these kills, and I might need to watch the theatrical version. Maybe the theatrical version actually flows, but it seems like there's cutaways and stuff in the theatrical version, and when they actually show you the shit, the money shots in the uncut version, it's so low quality that it's really hard to appreciate. It's like being transported back to 1992 every 5 minutes. So maybe that's not fair to hold against the movie as a whole, but it is the only available copy of the movie that I have to watch. So it's kind of valid for me to bring it up. And the last negative that I have with Silent Night, Deadly Night, I'm not a huge fan of Billy being regulated to just saying punish the entire second half of the film. Like, there's a scene in the department store when he's kind of hunting down the woman that works there, and the night before Christmas, when all do the house. Like, that's creepy. You're using Christmas songs and Christmas hymns and everything, but you're using it in a deadly way when you're stalking somebody.
It was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring. Not even a mouse.
I would have liked if they had incorporated a little bit more of that in his lines throughout the second half, but after that scene, the only thing you ever hear this guy say for the rest of the movie is punish, punish, punish. It's a little too corny for me, and I think there was a missed opportunity for some really creepy shit, spinning that Christmas stuff on its head. But all in all, guys, I enjoyed Silent Night, Deadly Night for the most part. This is not a classic in my mind. This is not a movie that I would ever recommend to anybody but a slasher fanatic, because I know most people, if not 99% of the people that are not slasher fanatics who watch this is going to think that it's trash. But if you are a slasher fan and you haven't seen it yet, I think there's a lot to like here. It does have that Christmas charm to it. It does have enough uniqueness to it to make it stand out amongst the multitude of slashers that we have. And there's that B-movie charm that, like I said, you're either going to be on the ride for, or it's going to completely deter you from the movie. So, enjoyed it for the most part. It's probably a movie that I'll throw in every other Christmas, maybe. So if you're a fan of Christmas horror, or if you're one of the few people out there that maybe has a paralyzing fear of Santa Claus, definitely check out Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's a cool little slasher with that B-movie Christmas charm. Find it online wherever you can and stream it. So what do you guys think of Silent Night, Deadly Night? Are you a fan of this film? Is this a yearly watch for you? Is the B-movie shit way too much for you to handle and you don't like it at all? I'm not going to review the rest of this franchise. Let me say that clearly now. But are there any of the other Silent Night, Deadly movies that you enjoy? Maybe more than the first one? Put your thoughts down below. Garbage day! Please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. If you want to check out my social media links, check the video description below for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spreadshirt for Cody Leach merchandise like t-shirts designed by the great Woody Bowen, and my Patreon page, which is a great way to give back to this channel and help this channel grow and get cool exclusive content for your eyes only. So check all that out, guys. And if you want to check out some more of my videos, including the rest of my horror Christmas extravaganza going on this month, you can check those out by clicking right over here.